Hello Internet, welcome back to Tech Tactics. Today we're throwing it way back with the Gigabyte GT710. Yep, that ancient GPU that refuses to retire. We've paired it with a Ryzen 5 4500 CPU and 32GB of DDR4 RAM. And since it's 2025, we thought why not see if this relic still has any game left in it? Or is it finally time to throw it away? Let's dive in and find out. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. The online marketplace for CD keys and software. G2A.com, where you can find discounts on all the keys you need. First up is Far Cry 2, a classic from 2008. We're running it at 1080p using the low graphics preset. Before we jump into the performance, let's take a moment to talk about the Gigabyte GT710. Released in 2016, this card features 192 shaders, 8 ROPs, and a core clock speed of 954 MHz, running on a PCI Express 2.0 x 8 interface. And with just 2GB of GDDR5 VRAM, the GT710 was never meant to be a gaming powerhouse. Despite its age, the 710 carved out a niche in ultra-budget builds over the years, mainly due to its low power consumption and surprisingly stable performance for everyday tasks. As of 2025, the GT710 is going around for £48 on eBay. Amazon, sorry. But mind you, if you have a look on eBay, you'd probably get it much cheaper. At that price though, you could easily opt for something like the GT1030 instead. I actually made a video on this a while back, so if you're curious how that one performs, I'll link it on screen now. So how does the GT710 handle Far Cry 2? Surprisingly decent, I'd say. We're seeing an average of 44 FPS, with 1% lows around 32 FPS and 0.1% lows at 31 FPS. Not bad at all for a decade-old budget GPU running a nearly 2-decade-old game. Next up on our retro journey is Assassin's Creed Revelations, a game that dropped back in 2011, a time when dinosaurs might as well still have existed. Or at least when flip phones were still a thing that people proudly used. We're running it at 1080p on the low graphics preset, and let's be real, the GT710 isn't here to win performance awards. It's more for folks who just need a reliable system for everyday stuff, browsing the web, watching videos, or getting some light work done in office apps. And honestly, that's perfectly fine. Expecting high-end gaming from this card is like expecting a potato to run a marathon. It's just not built for that. That said, general web browsing is smooth and full HD streaming holds up well. 4K HDR, however, this is where it changes. But for basic use and undermining tasks, the GT710 handles itself without any drama. Now, back to Assassin's Creed Revelations. We're seeing an average of 29 FPS, and with 1% lows at 23 FPS and 0.1% lows at 22 FPS. Not exactly butterly smooth. But considering the age and limitations of this card, it's honestly impressive it made it this far. Next up is Grand Theft Auto 5 Legacy version. As expected, the game is running at 1080p with the lowest possible graphics settings, though in true Rockstar fashion they've labelled these as normal settings. We also tested a few less demanding titles like Far Cry 2 and Assassin's Creed Revelations, which still offer a decent experience on lower settings. However, modern AAA games are simply beyond the capabilities of the GT710. That said, the GT710 does have its advantages. Its low power consumption makes it a budget and eco-friendly choice for basic graphics tasks. While it lacks modern features such as ray tracing or AI acceleration, it does support DirectX 12 and OpenGL 4.5, allowing it to run old games and software. This makes it a practical option for retro gaming fans or developers working with legacy applications. There are several variants of the GT710 dating back to 2014. The model we tested is equipped with 2GB of GDDR5 memory, and despite the faster memory though, the performance difference compared to the other variants is relatively minor. GTA 5 Legacy Edition averages 28 FPS, with 1% lows at 20 FPS and 0.1% lows dipping to 19 FPS. Now Half-Life 2, 1080p resolution with high graphics settings. Motion blur and classic effects are turned off. This remains one of my all-time favourite games, despite being over 20 years old. The story still holds up incredibly well. The game's primary setting, City 17, isn't just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing environment that perfectly captures the game's dystopian tone. What's remarkable is how the city's design tells its own story. Graffiti, propaganda posters, and the constant presence of patrolling combine soldiers make City 17 feel lived in and tense. Valve have truly set a new standard with Half-Life 2. It's the kind of storytelling that respects the player's intelligence and lets you feel like you're part of the world, not just watching it from outside. Honestly, they don't make games like this anymore. Valve's recent 20-year anniversary update for Half-Life 2 has refreshed the experience, making it feel surprisingly fresh even now. It's a testament to how well crafted the original game was and why it's still such a passionate fan base. In Half-Life 2, the GT710 averages 75 FPS, with 1% lows at 47 FPS and 0.1% lows dropping to 31 FPS. The final game is Red Dead Redemption, running at 1080p resolution with low settings. Motion blur turned off and render resolution scaling set to 80%. We aimed it for a 60 FPS target. However, unless you drop the resolution all the way down to 720p, the GT710 struggles to come close. In practice, it averages around 29 FPS, with the 1% lows dipping to 24 FPS, and the 0.1% lows bottoming out at 21 FPS. So, wrapping up our look at the Gigabyte GT710. It's clear this tiny card still has a story to tell. No, it won't run modern AAA games or heavy apps in 2025, but it remains a reliable, power-efficient and budget-friendly option. The GT710 is a reminder that sometimes simplicity and efficiency are all you need to browse the web, watch videos, or handle light tasks. So, is the GT710 still worth it in 2025? For some people, absolutely. Whether you're chasing a bit of nostalgia, building a budget PC, it has a place. Thanks for hanging out and taking a trip down memory lane. Don't underestimate your old gear, it might surprise you with just how much it can still do. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more tech content. I'm David James and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Listen, mister, this here's what's left of Fort Mercer.